Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's ceremony where the men and women of United States Transportation Command pay special tribute to Colonel John R. Andrus on the occasion of his promotion. I'm Colonel Glenn Donnelly, and I will be your narrator. The presiding officer for today's ceremony is the Commander, United States Transportation Command, General Stephen R. Lyons. At this time, we would like to recognize our distinguished guests, both here and online. Please hold your applause until all introductions have been completed. Colonel Andrus's wife, Kayleen, their children, Philip and his wife, Whitney, Janae and her fiance, Garrett, Kyle, Kevin, Jacob and his wife, Lauren, and Macy, Colonel Andrus's mother, Darlene, and Colonel and Mrs. Andrus' grandchildren, Claire, Cora, Candace, Scarlett, Declan, Wesley, Melody, Georgia, William, and Winter. We would also like to welcome General Lyons' wife, Maureen, our Deputy Commander, Vice Admiral D. Mewborn, the former Department of the Air Force Surgeon General, Lieutenant General retired Dorothy Hogg, the former Air Force Surgeon General, Lieutenant General retired Mark Ediger, our Chief of Staff, Major General Vince Barker, the Commanding General, Military Surface Deployment and Distribution Command, Major General Heidi Hoyle, the Commander, Joint Transportation Reserve Unit, Brigadier General Kenny Council Jr., and all general officers, flag officers, senior executive service personnel, directors, senior enlisted leaders, co-workers, friends, and family joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of ruffles and flourishes, singing of the national anthem, and invocation.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please bow your heads. Our dear Father, who art in heaven, we are grateful to gather together today to honor the accomplishments and the promotion of Colonel John Andrus to the rank of general, and particularly for all that represents, for all those who have made this possible. We pray, Father, that thy Spirit will be present with us here today and are grateful for thy goodness in allowing us to come to this place. We ask thee, Father, that we may be inspired from this.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The floor is yours.
Well, I got to tell you, this is a great day And John, thanks for allowing me to be part of it, to be part of the officiation here. Really appreciate it. Nobody more deserving. We're going to do two things today. We're going to promote this great leader to the rank of Brigadier General. And as he gets ready to transition, we're also going to pin his Tour medal on him in the same ceremony. So to the folks who put this ceremony together, thank you. I know a lot of folks are involved in terms of IT and PA and comms and surgeon section and a lot of folks. And I got to tell you, Macy, you nailed it. Jacob, you nailed it. Thanks for being part of this great ceremony. It means a great deal, not just to your dad, but frankly, it means a great deal to me. So thank you for being here. I appreciate that. I know, yeah. I know we've got a number of folks out on virtual land. I don't know if I can see everybody, but it's great to have you plugged in for sure. I think we even got recently Lieutenant General retired Dot Hogg out there, who was so instrumental in this promotion. Thank you for joining us, as well as many other former Air Force Surgeons General. Our own great Deputy Commander, Vice Admiral Mewborn, and all the senior leadership in the command that's here in the audience. Thanks for coming out and celebrating this great event. It's indeed a great event. Hey, John will be the first to tell you that he didn't get here by himself. And if you didn't know it, he has just this incredible family of this great spouse, Kayleen, and 6 wonderful children. 5 of the 6 are here, as well as 8 grandchildren, and 4 of them are here today too. And so let me, now I have to confess that for families with 2 or less, I try to commit it to memory. With 6 or more, I have a cheat sheet. But I don't want to miss an opportunity. So Kayleen, thank you so much for all of you've done over these almost 37 years now. You and John were together from the very beginning when he was in junior college and got married and raised this wonderful family, and have contributed so much to our great United States Air Force, and I can't thank you enough for being part of this great Air Force team. I really appreciate it. Thank you. As I mentioned, 6 children, and in 1988, when they both together decided that they were going to opt for military medical school, they already had 2 children. And by the time he would finish medical school in '93, they had 4 children of the 6. And so this great Air Force family's been on this journey the whole entire time. So we've got Philip. There you go. Janae, Kyle, Kevin virtual. Do we have Kevin up? Give us a thumb there. See him, perfect. Jacob, who did that awesome invocation, and Macy, who sang our national anthem, and you can see why she will absolutely be a world-famous opera singer in no time flat. You often hear me say that, in the military, the service member volunteers. The spouse kind of quasi-volunteered, and you guys did that back when you both voted with the 3x5 cards, right? And said, okay, this is what we're going to do, and you both agreed. But for the children, they're kind of cast into this lot of military service. Multiple moves, multiple schools, and I just want to say thank you for your service as a military family. And I'm always so impressed by our military children as they grow and become such great servants and leaders in the community, and just such a worldly context. And so to the Andrus family, thank you for being here for your dad and your mom today. So thank you. So one of the most important people in the audience is John's mom, Darlene, 87 years young, who came out here from California and is so extraordinarily proud of John, and should be. John was the oldest of 5 children. Darlene still lives out in San Luis Obispo. I understand running the family estate and all that's involved in that, and you're willing to fly out here. And John's dad unfortunately passed back in around 2012 of today, so incredibly proud of you, John, as a lifelong educator, and I know how instrumental he was in your development and the development of your siblings. So, you know, that's where John and his family learned some basics, you know, just hard work, selfless service, faith and prayer. But his mom had a better adage, and I might not get them all right. It was love, learn, educator, love,
Labor.
labor. He says chores, labor. I was asking him on the way down. And laugh. That's a great leader for life. That's a great life philosophy. Thank you very much. And I think a number of your siblings, Mark, Dan, and Michael, might be out on the net. If we give them a wave if they're out there. So great to have them on board as well. So let me just talk a little bit about John's journey. I'll talk a little bit about what I know about him on a personal level, which is quite impressive. And then what I think he's going to do for our United States Air Force as he heads off to the 711 Human Performance Wing out at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base here in a few weeks. So John started, as I mentioned, he decided to go to med school, military medical school. He came out in 93, a number of assignments as you would expect, you know, at Travis, Lodges, ends up at Ramstein, Pinzon Major, flight surgeon, running C-130s. Year 2000, a couple significant things happen. You have the largest flood in Mozambique in 50 years. Who's on the front scenes of providing humanitarian assistance, but one is John Andrus. That same year, you all remember the Cole, the USS Cole was hit in Aden Harbor. And it was John and his team that went down and recovered the wounded and brought them back and got them into Landstuhl. He would go on to command organizations, and docs don't always get to do that. He commanded 2 squadrons at McCord. He commanded a med group out at Lackland. He went on to MAGCOM, surgeon positions, and ultimately ended up here at US TRANSCOM and arrived, I guess, just a few months before I got here.
Yes, sir.
But I've known John now for the better part of 3 years, and I can tell you there's nobody better, nobody more professional. And not a lot of people understand that when you're in the command surgeon billet at United States Transportation Command, it's completely different than when you're in the command surgeon billet of any other COCOM in the United States Department of Defense. Because here in United States Transportation Command, there is a dedicated UCP mission assigned by the President of the United States to manage global patient movement. And that's what John and his team do. They manage global patient movement across the globe. Every single soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, Coast Guardsman, and other that is evacuated through the military medical system, through the aerial evacuation system, is managed and cleared by this team right here. This is a capability that no other nation in the world has. This is a nation, the only nation that I know of, that will send a C-17 across the globe into Afghanistan, recover a wounded special operator with 100 units of blood, and bring them back nonstop with 2 to 3 aerial refuels en route to get them back to Brooke Army Medical Center. That is a true story. And that is a story that the SOCOM commander, my good friend General Rich Clark, told to the President of the United States at a dinner about 1.5 years ago. That's how impressed he was. But I'll tell you, everybody, John, is so incredibly impressed with what you do for the Joint Force. Your team out in the Pacific, your team out in Europe, your team here in the Americas, and what you represent as world-class medical care en route. An intensive care unit, critical care teams, all the equipment, all the knowledge, just impressive on what this capability means to the nation. And we all know, I can attest personally, we all know great young warriors that are alive today because this apparatus exists for the nation. You'd think that would be enough, but then along comes COVID. He does a number of other things, by the way. He runs a bunch of other regulatory things for the Joint Force. But along comes COVID. Now, I remember in the early days, and it's so great to see everybody with no mask on, and you're all here, you're breathing and smiling, and it's wonderful to see. It's a testament to the United States of America and our ability to get that vaccine out as fast as we were able to do it. Along comes COVID. We didn't know what we didn't know. But we knew the right answer wasn't going to be stop moving patients. We knew the right answer wasn't going to be stop global mobility operations. We had to figure out a way to move highly infectious patients. And General McKenzie, if you know him, came up on the net very early from the CENTCOM region and said, hey, I've got tens of thousands of troops out here in the combat. Based on our estimated calculation, here's what the patient evacuation rate looks like it's going to be. It's going to be thousands per month. And we looked at ourselves and we said, we have not moved in a highly infectious patient since the Ebola crisis. And by the way, that capability was put back on the shelf several years ago and hasn't been maintained and hasn't been trained to. So we had some work to do. It was John Andrus that led that effort with a large contingent from the Air Component, Air Mobility Command, from the university, up at University of Nebraska, other academic and defense research agencies that came together to figure out, first, how to get the old system off the shelf and activated. And we went down to Charleston as they were doing that. And then second, to figure out how to get beyond that flimsy capability, which was great back in the day, but to a more deliberate means to move highly infectious patients. In less than 80 days from the signature of a joint urgent need that was submitted from this COCOM to the chairman and to the secretary, John and his team had figured out, and AMC had figured out how to field something called a negative pressure Connex. I see General West here from AMC. You guys were a huge part of this. And today, without incident, without infection, further infection of another patient, without infection of a medical attendant or a crew member, he and his team have moved, well, I guess about 700, almost 700 patients at this particular point, COVID positive, known COVID positive patients, safely, deliberately, all fully recovered. It's just a testament to his leadership to take an unstructured problem and figure out how to solve it across a very complex network of stakeholders. And John, I would just say as you head to the 711th, and I had an opportunity to visit that wing out at Wright-Patterson some time ago, because they were also a key component of the research and development engineering effort of the negative pressure Connex. It is an incredible organization. It is, of course, the School of Aeromedical Evacuation for the United States Air Force, aerospace evacuation. And they do all kinds of neat stuff in that regard. But it's also airman systems. So everything to do with making an airman better to operate in flight and in space. It is a huge portfolio. They've got the full reach of the Air Force research labs out at Wright-Patterson. It's just an incredible, and you will be the perfect person as you look to the future and anticipate what the requirements are, and then put the Air Force, and by the nature of the Air Force, the Joint Force, on a trajectory to anticipate future requirements. So John, I'm really proud of you going to the 711th. I think it's a great assignment for you. And don't forget to fix traces while you're out there for the home team. So enough about patient movement. I want to talk just a minute about what I've observed personally in my short tenure of working with this great officer and leader. Yes, he's a great medical doctor, and yes, he's completed 3 residencies in family practice, aeromedicine, and preventive medicine. And by the way, what a perfect fit for TRANSCOM, given those credentials. But he's also an exceptional leader. So you can have all the technical expertise required, But what makes John significantly above the pack, and why you can, if you're only going to select 1 or 2 officers for promotion to Brigadier General, that he's in that group, is because his leadership capability. And not just direct leadership, but strategic leadership, the ability to problems that I hope in his heart he knows I really don't understand, but I pay attention to what he says, and be able to boil that down to something that's meaningful for the 4-star combatant command. He's like the Sanjay Gupta on the net every time he comes up, to be able to take these very complex issues that are COVID related and boil them down. But, if you want to measure leadership, I would tell you a couple measures of effectiveness. One, look at the way that people feel around them, the way they feel cared for, the way they feel empowered. It's impressive. The way that he gives the credit away. And finally, if you really want to know, just look into his heart. He loves what he does. He loves the people that he serves and that he works with. And he loves to serve. And ladies and gentlemen, that in my view is why the Air Force made an excellent decision in selecting John Andrus for the rank of Brigadier General, and why I think, John, we should get on with this promotion.
Yes, sir.
All right. John.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the reading of the promotion order. Integrity and abilities of Colonel John R. Andrus. In view of these special qualities and his demonstrated potential to serve in the next higher grade, Colonel Andrus is promoted to the grade of Brigadier General, United States Air Force, effective the 4th day of May, 2021, by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Mrs. Darlene Andrus and Mrs. Kayleen Andrus, will you please come forward? You can take them off if you want.
I see you put a little glue on that side. I think Kayleen did that. Yeah. I think you're starting to look a little smarter already. Great job.
Philip, Janae, and Kyle Andrus, will you please come forward? Thank you, Andrus family. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as General Lyons administers the oath of office.
All right, let you get dressed. pressure whatsoever. Looks good, John. I got to tell you, those stars look good. Okay, let's stand right here. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, John Richard Andrus,
Having been appointed a Brigadier General in the United States Air Force,
having been appointed a Brigadier General in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I give this obligation freely,
that I give this obligation freely,
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion.
Flag. His flag is being unfurled by the U.S. TRANSCOM Joint Service Color Guard. The history of general officer flags dates to 22 August 1903. They were first authorized for Army general officers when making official visits to Navy vessels. This authorization was expanded to automobile flags and field and office flags in 1923. Today, the Air Force authorized individual flags to those who warrant them by virtue of their office. The United States Air Force has incorporated the use of flags to signify the presence of a general officer. This flag will be present at all official military functions hosted by Brigadier General Andrus and will be visibly displayed in his office. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as General Lyons presents the Defense Superior Service Medal to Brigadier General Andrus. Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of the Defense Superior Service Medal to Brigadier General John R. Andrus. Brigadier General John R. Andrus, United States Air Force, distinguished himself by exceptionally superior service as Command Surgeon, United States Transportation Command, Scott Air Force Base, Illinois, from June 2018 to June 2021. During this period, he led the Department of Defense's Global Patient Movement Team through a critical transition to a globally integrated posture and historic capability transformation. As Director, Global Patient Movement Operations, General Andrus managed a $2.8 million annual budget and oversaw the completion of over 17,400 patient movements under conditions that sustained or improved the medical situation of the ill and injured entrusted to his care. With a requirement to transport large numbers of infected coronavirus patients, he facilitated the refurbishment and deployment of the transportation isolation system. This was followed by the development, acquisition, and deployment of the negatively pressurized Connex box within an unprecedented 88 days, allowing the movement of 367 infected individuals on 97 biocontainment missions. In his capacity as chairman of the Global Patient Movement Joint Advisory Board, General Andrus culminated a multi-year effort resulting in Section 1204 of the National Defense Authorization Act of 2021. This law permits the Secretary of Defense to enter into agreements with partner countries to allow patient movement personnel, equipment, and practices of one country to perform patient movement services aboard the aircraft of another. Finally, he expertly advised senior military and commercial leaders, translating voluminous scientific studies and public health guidelines into relevant information that fed critical decisions and enabled the Defense Transportation Mission to continue in spite of a global pandemic. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Brigadier General Andrus reflect great credit upon himself, the United States Air Force, the United States Transportation Command, and the Department of Defense.
Round of applause for Sean.
Thank you, General Lyons. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Brigadier General Andrus, the floor is yours.
Thank you. You know, the first thing I want to say is it's great to be on the stage without being on a panel talking about COVID. So again, it's very good to see the maskless faces and to be able to gather together. The timing was worked out well. Listen, I just want to say, you know, Kayleen and I are humbled, we're honored, but mostly we're very grateful. And if I could say one thing, it would be thank you. General and Mrs. Lyons, thanks so much for your support, and General Lyons for officiating today and for being willing to do that. I mentioned to him on the way, you know, TRANSCOM never stops. It never does. There's something moving somewhere in the world. And for General Lyons to be able to pause in the midst of the battle rhythm that we have here and the pace that we have here to recognize individuals, not just myself, but I've seen him do it for many others, is a testament of his leadership and very, very meaningful. It means a lot, not only to me, but the rest of the command, that you're willing and able to do that and recognize individuals. I've learned a number of things from General Lyons, and they're all good, by the way. But I've learned what it means to be a leader that sets a vision, what it means to then, after setting a vision, clear the obstacles out of the way, and then focus the team on that direction and encourage them as they go. He forgives. He holds people accountable that he's forgiving, and he is a motivating element to the team moving forward. And he's consistent. He has been consistent from day one. I have never wondered what he wanted me to focus on, not one time. And in fact, the other day, I think yesterday, I was talking to somebody, and they asked me, what is General Lyons most interested in? I could rattle it right off. I knew exactly what it was because he's consistent, he sets a vision, he clears obstacles, he's a teammate, he's a partner, and he helps the team move forward. So, sir, thank you not only for this, but for your leadership. I've never worked in a better environment, honestly, so thank you. Vice Admiral Moorborn, thank you for attending. From you, I learn every day. But two main lessons I will walk away with after interacting with you is to think ahead and be a forward thinker and to ask better questions. And you ask great questions. And your questions have caused not only hard questions, but he does it for a reason. And his questions are the guideposts that direct us and focus us where we need to be focused. So thanks so much for being here, but also for being here in the command for the last 3 years and the last 2 years, I believe. Time goes by fast here. I also want to acknowledge Lieutenant General Dorothy Hogg, Lieutenant General Mark Edgar, former Surgeons General from the Air Force, who are in attendance as well. It's very much appreciated. Both of them have had a direct and personal impact on me as an individual, and very much appreciate their attendance. So thank you very much. A couple other folks I just want to highlight. I want to thank there's another individual, Major General Byron Hepburn, who is in attendance as well and listening in. I'll talk a little bit more about him later, but he was one of those great leaders that led me twice and set a great example for me. By the way, he's one who worked the C-17 with the SPO way back in the day to be able to make sure that the C-17 could be patient movement capable. That was him, focused at the SPO to bring oxygen, to bring litters, to bring stanchions, to bring that airplane to a level to where we could have what we needed to have to do the mission we're doing today. So the fact that I'm standing here connected to the patient movement mission after being led by him is not insignificant, given the mission we're doing and the impact he had on our ability to do that now many years later. Really, thank you, directors, for being here. But more important than thank you for being here, thank you for just being part of a team. I've never been on a team where we had so much I guess, magic in between us. I mean, there's not a director here that I haven't been able to call or talk to or stop in a hallway. There's not a director here that we haven't been able to generate a friendship besides just being able to work together. And the image that I have when I think about the directors here and the way this command goes is recently I was in Springfield at the Lincoln Presidential Library. And there's a display in there, a diorama in there that is his cabinet room. And it shows his team of rivals, his team of individuals that had different political views, that had different ideas about how to prosecute things, how to get this country back together. And in that diorama, they are not sitting around staring at the boss waiting for the answers to come. They are working, their craniums down, they're in documents, they're talking with one another. It is a perfect illustration of work, but the kind of work that happens here at TRANSCOM every day because of the collaboration that we have and the environment that's set by General Lyons and our senior leaders. So this will be a highlight for me to work in an environment like this. And I know it is for many, many others in this command because I've heard others express the same sentiment. So thank you. To the TRANSCOM team, it's just great to be a part of this team, and to the surgeons team who does the work that General Lyons just talked about. Truly an incredible team. And the theme that will carry through as I finish up in a few minutes, I got 2 more cards, is the idea that not everybody has all the answers, right? And that we've got to collaborate. Everybody brings something to the fight. When you put that together, that is the magic of TRANSCOM. And that happens every single day in the patient movement arena as well. So I want to say thank you for the patient movement team, for the surgeon cell here that has really been a critical part of my experience here. For us, it's really about family. It's about friends. It's about our God-given family. It's about our military family. It's about and it's about friends. And it's about recognizing the influence that others have had on me. I kind of view it like 2 cars that you have a kind of you kind of hit each other, but you don't cause a lot of damage. You maybe just switch paint, right? You trade paint. I feel like I've traded paint with a lot of people over the years, and as a result, I got a lot of paint on me, I guess. But the point is, there's something from every individual I interact with that sticks, right, and changes me. And I know it happens with all of you as well, and that's why we love being in this environment. And so everybody here has been a part of that. So thank you, all of you, for attending and being a part of this. But again, bigger picture, being a part of everything it took to get here. I would like to just pause for a moment and really thank those that have participated. This could not happen all by itself. There's a lot of people behind the scenes, as General Lyons acknowledged, and I just want to thank individuals that were involved. I really want to thank Captain Minda, Colonel Sinclair, for the work that both of you did in the planning piece, working with protocol. They're awesome, by the way. Thanks, Glenn, for offering to proffer, and Major Glenn Canty for, narrating proffer. Both of you look incredibly professional and sharp, and you've done a great job today, so thank you. I also want to thank, we got 2 ushers that really are right here, and they're part of our patient movement team. And so Major Jimenez and HM3, Kajoran Katie Poon, thank you very much for helping all of this amazing family, but can be a gaggle at times, helping us get in our seats and being a part of this as well. We have escorts as well that were at the front doors, and for HM2, Jacob Proctor, for Sergeant Evan Walker, for Staff Sergeant Carl Lansing, thank you for your participation. Colonel Palmer and our good friend Ms. Tori Jacobson worked very closely with my wife, with Ms. Monica Lee, my secretary, with Major Sherman, my exec, to make sure things are going to go well following this as we go downstairs, so thank you. And then the drummer, wow, that's amazing. I think a lot of people didn't expect that, and thank you for being here. Tech Sergeant Friedman, I really appreciate your involvement. And to the color guard, Staff Sergeant Sean Schwegel, Tech Sergeant Durandez, thank you very much. And then also for the team in the back that's making it possible for me to stand here and see family on the screen behind that weren't able to attend. Thank you so much for the streaming, the AV input. Mr. Helton, we'll thank him. He's in the background. He's gonna help a really cool thing happen here at the end, so we'll see. So thanks to him. And then the protocol folks, really appreciate everything you do. Pete, really done a phenomenal job, and others as well. So thank you so much for that. I also want to thank my daughter Macy and my son Jacob for the invocation and the national anthem. Macy really is, General Lyons wasn't kidding, Macy really is on the road to becoming an opera singer and a professional opera singer. She studies vocal performance, which should be no surprise to you based on what you heard. And then Jacob, who I asked Jacob to give the invocation for a very important reason. And the reason I asked him to give the invocation is because I wanted him to stand up in front of everybody here to demonstrate that we are a family of faith and that that's part of our foundation. And I love the chaplain. Chaplain here does a phenomenal job, but I just felt it was important to demonstrate our foundation of faith. And Jacob, you could not have done that any better. That was phenomenal, really well done. I mean, chaplains go to school for a long time to do what you just did, and seriously, you did very, very well. This little secret I'll let you in on that you won't know is that Macy stood up here earlier and she said, "Oh no, what am I going to do? I don't have my phone. I can't hit the key to get me started on the right key." And I said, "Well, gee whiz, you're a professional singer. I mean, why is that important?" She said, "Well, I said, you're always on key." She said, "Yes, but which key?" And so Jacob says quietly, "Which key would you like?" She says, "I want a G. G major?" "Yes." He gave her a G major. She says, how did you do that? He says, "I have perfect pitch." She says, "No way. I hate you. I would love to have perfect pitch." But Jacob has perfect pitch, and he gave her the key. So it was really a team effort to sing that national anthem. Did a great job. So thank you both. Jacob is, as you see, he's active duty Air Force. He's a personnel down at Lackland on his way to medical school. People ask me, is Jacob following in your footsteps? My answer is, Jacob is making his own path. Jacob has chosen what he wants to do, and he's going to do it the way he needs to do it. And I am just thrilled to stand and watch and see what you do. And yeah, he's in a blue uniform like me. He's going to medical school like I did. But Jacob, I do not expect you to walk in my path. I expect you to make your own path, and it'll be amazing. And it's true for all of my children who are making their own paths and their own ways through life. I'll just highlight, so General Lyons talked about needing a cue card to remember the names of my children. So luckily I've got mine as well. But I did want to highlight my son Philip. He's got a heart of gold. He spends his time. He's built a business around solar, trying to help with the energy situation in the country. He has and he works full time. His business is to help people that are get roofs back on people's homes that have been hit by disaster, so they have a place to live, that they can be comfortable in that home. So he really is making a difference in not only in his own life with his family and his what he does for work, but it really does impact the nation and the citizens of our nation. My daughter Janae, who you saw helping with the rank, she's incredible. She has her own business. She invented a game. She sells it on Amazon. She's managed the on her own. She's figured out how to do the manufacturing, how to get it put together, how to do the marketing, how to get it sold, all of that. She's put together on her own. She runs a very successful business there. She works for an IT company as well, doing marketing, no surprise. And which is in the cyber realm. So J6, that's something that we have a very significant interest here at TRANSCOM as well. She's about to marry Garrett Cox, who's an Army Guardsman, and he'll bring 2 more grandchildren into our family. We're looking forward to that in the next few weeks. So that's Janae. Mine, I got 2 amazing grandchildren here with her, Claire and Candace, that are hers. Philip's got beautiful little Cora and Declan, who I think is about to fall asleep. And they drove all the way. Cora and Declan drove all the way from Colorado last night through the night, and the other 2 drove up from Arkansas yesterday, and they're heading back today. So that was a big sacrifice for them, so thank you. And then I think that's Kyle, who is our middle child. And if you know about middle children, and they're 6, so how can he be the middle child? Well, he's by personality the middle child, which means that he is really sort of the oil on the water, right? He is one of the peacemakers in our home, and he always has been. And Kyle TRANSCOM has a very big interest in you, and here's why. Kyle has his degree in construction management. He works for a company that builds freeways and expands bridges, so it puts more lanes on interstates. Kyle is a big part of keeping the traffic moving and keeping goods moving across this country. And it's right near Hill Air Force Base, so TRANSCOM is moving stuff on that very road that he's building. So Kyle, thank you. You got a lot of fans in this room, so just want you to be aware. And then lastly, I just want to mention my son Kevin, who can't be here. I think somebody mentioned like Home Alone, where's Kevin, right? But I see Kevin. He's right there. I see him on the screen in the back, and I appreciate him taking time. He's got 3 beautiful children there with him. I saw 2 of them on the screen earlier. Kevin is not here because he's in California. He's a wildlife firefighter, and he's getting ready to help protect California from expected very difficult fire season this year. And so that kind of rounds out the kids. I did want to highlight my mother, and I appreciate General Lyons for doing that, and he did it in such a good way. But without repeating what he already said, I'll share with you, when I put this rank on 12 years ago, really, it took you 12 years to figure out how to be a colonel? Yes, it did. My parents were both there, my in-laws were both there, and it was a very amazing occasion. And I firmly knew this was the last time that would happen. Since then, my in-laws have passed away, which is unfortunate. My father-in-law served in the Navy for a short time. He was a medic up at Oak Knoll in Oakland shortly after World War II. Very proud of his service. A wonderful man and very welcoming into the family when I came in, which I was surprised. I didn't think dads did that. And then my mother-in-law, one of the most patriotic people I know. I'll never forget her getting off the airplane in D.C. to see us one day waving an American flag and singing patriotic songs. And she's just a very patriotic, would love to be here if she could. I'm sure she's here in her own way. So that's very special. But when you have to go in the military, I served missions in Canada for 3 years, came home for a short time, unfortunately, to bury my sister who passed away from cancer, and then off they went again to Los Angeles to serve for 4 years, came home, and then Dad, unfortunately, passed away from cancer. So literally his entire life has been a life of service. So when I think about service, it's not just about military service, it's about service. He truly exemplified that. My mom's exemplified that as well. And she's taught me the things that General Lyons outlined. Her motto was, "You love those you serve, and darn it, you're going to love me." And so hence chores, right? She was determined that her children would learn to serve each other, and therefore they would love each other. She knew that if you put effort into another individual, you will learn to love that individual. So that's been ingrained from day one. I will share with you that she's an incredibly intelligent woman. She's very bright. She could have done anything she wanted in this world. She wanted to be, and what she wanted to be was a physician. Her great-grandmother graduated from medical school in 1878, which, of course, would be my great-great-grandmother. Her grandmother was an accomplished musician who had graduated from the Juilliard School of Music, piano player, singer, married an Idaho farmer, spent the rest of her life raising potatoes and pinto beans. But that legacy is an important legacy. Mom was not able to attend school because of life, social circumstances, and economic circumstances. So when I came home with my books, from the junior college when I was going to school and getting started on my bachelor's degree, she would sit with me, and I would take the books out of the bag one by one, and we would look at them together. She would be amazed at the knowledge that was in them, and we would talk about all the things that I was going to learn. That was pretty motivating, actually. And it was a big part of why I stuck with the path that I determined to go down. And I'll just share with you, I served a mission in Venezuela for 2 years. I came home, I didn't know what to do. So I got on my knees and I asked, and the answer was very clear. I have a Lincoln, drive a truck. The answer was go to medical school. I said, no, you don't understand. You got me mixed up with someone else. That's too hard, I can't do that. But the answer came again, go to medical school. So I did, and it was not easy. And we worked our way through. But luckily, it was us, my wife and I, working our way through. Kayleen, as General Lyons said, has been with me for going on 37 years. We got married. Making the decision to get married was easy. We were in love. We knew what the right thing to do was, and we got married. The decision to walk in the military was a little more challenging. And as General Lyons said, we made that decision together. A month, and I was commissioned 2 days before Janae was born, and then we went off to medical school a month later. And she's been by my side ever since. There's two constants in my life. Constant number one, my faith. Constant number two, my partner, my sweetheart. And no matter where we move, no matter where we go, I wake up in the morning, I look to my right, and there she is. And unless I'm TDY, which is why I like to be home. And the other constant is my faith. And I just want to acknowledge individuals that are here in the center of the room from my congregation that we attend that have been very supportive and are considered good friends, and they're a great support, and we appreciate that. And the good thing is with our faith, wherever we go, our faith is there. And that's another constant in our life, no matter where we go. So I just want to acknowledge that. Honey, I love you. It's been a great life journey. People have asked us, what's it like to empty nest? And the answer is, it's great. We have been able to redefine our relationship. We've been able to figure out what the rest of life is going to look like. We're still sorting it through, but it's just so fun to have someone to do that with. So, and then I want to acknowledge my brothers. I've got in-laws on the line. I see Jeff and Lisa Kwiatkowski up on the line. Tanya is up on the line. I've got my nephew, Nathan. I think his wife Ashley's there in the corner. Andrus, he's Captain Nathan, who is a Reaper driver, and he's heading down to Kirtland to teach. My son Kevin's up there. He's in California, and Philip's lovely wife Whitney is on the line as well. So acknowledge their presence. Now, before I do anything else, and it is my last card, I want to correct a mistake that I made 20 years ago. Will you stand up? The Chief Master Sergeant retired, Peggy Kearns. She and I served at Ramstein together. She represents for me the enlisted folks that I've worked with, thousands of them over the years. And what she represents are troops that have been actually in the trench, doing the hard work, making the hard problems go away, that have been willing to speak truth to leaders, keep us straight, which she's done many, many times. I had a day when I was a brand new flight surgeon at Ramstein, sitting in my office. I got some paperwork I was supposed to process. She walked in. I said, hey, at the time, Master Sergeant Kearns, how do I process it? What do I do with this paperwork? What? Didn't you go to flight surgeon school? They're supposed to teach you that there. How is it you didn't know how to do that? I said, it was 2 years ago. I forgot. I don't know. I just help. She stopped. She said, she sees the big picture. She said, here's the deal. She said, I will make you a flight surgeon. And I trusted her. I knew she was right. She says, but you have to do what I tell you to do. And I instantly said, I'm in. She has not failed me. 20 years ago, I had an opportunity to recognize her and thank her. I didn't do it. And it's bothered me for 20 years, so I just want to publicly say thank you. All right, so I'll wrap this up. Through my career, there's been a lot of. I've spent 11 years out of 33 years as a full-time student. I hope young people hear that and they understand the opportunity that is there, right? So a third of my time, you may wonder, we haven't got any work out of him. That's probably true, right? But I'll tell you, and others in this room have the same experience. Those educational experiences are so valuable, and they broaden your mind, and they stretch you, and they make you think new things. And the opportunity to sit and think and read and write and put thoughts together is so invaluable, and it really contributes to how you think down the road. You're never the same after. I've got individuals on the line, retired Army Colonel Dr. Paul Evans, who was my mentor in medical school, who taught me the art of osteopathic manipulation, which I use all through my clinical career. Air Force Colonel retired Brian Ramey, who's on the line, who was the director of my family medicine residency program, who, by the way, delivered Jacob. Both of them taught me never to walk into a room with an empty toolbox. Fill it up. Put everything you can learn in there. It's not just about learning from one person or one discipline. You've got to learn across the board and fill that toolbox up. They both taught me that, and I appreciate that. But the education experience is not just about who's teaching you, it's about who you're learning with. That's really the power of the education system. So Carl, will you stand up? Dr. Carl Peters was with me in my residency at family medicine at Travis, and he and I were office mates. And so if you want stories, don't talk. Don't talk to Carl. But Carl's I disappeared for a while. He's been here in St. Louis the whole time. I wasn't quite sure where he was. Recently found him. But I would just say to you, Carl, thank you. I mean, the conversations we had, the things we worked through, the support we gave one another, it made all the difference. And those lessons have stuck. I just want you to know that. So thank you. And then I've got folks like Dr. Jim Fike, retired Colonel Dr. Jim Fike on the line, who was a very good friend, and we worked all kinds of things together. Retired Colonel Tim Baker, who's out working at Madigan, has been a force out at Madigan. Chris Kiwas, retired Captain Chris Kiwas, who I worked with at AFRICOM, just taught me, he's a CB, and he taught me how a CB thinks, and he taught me how a non-medic thinks, and how to and it expanded my view significantly, particularly as I worked through rating naval officers and so on. And then in terms of leaders, you know, I mentioned Major General Hepburn before. I was at a point in my life where I needed to decide, am I going to stay clinical and become I really wanted to be an educator, or am I going to pursue more of a command path, right? And so in that struggle, my brother Danny, by the way, was doing the same thing at the same time. I went into Lieutenant Colonel Hepburn's office and I said, sir, you keep telling us we should lead. I'm watching you. I'm flying all the time. I'm operational. I'm seeing patients. I'm delivering babies up at launch. I mean, I'm having a blast. What you do, that doesn't look like fun at all. So why would I ever want to be a squadron commander? And he told, and I did this to him twice, and he gave me the same answer, so it must have been the right answer. He said, listen, John, he says, is there anything happening that you think could be done better? Do you have frustrations in your day-to-day? I said, well, yeah, absolutely. Like, they should do this, they should do that. If you think it could be done better, you owe it to those coming behind to make it better. And I took that to heart, and that's what helped me make my decision. I know my brother made the decision to leave the classroom and become a principal for the same reasons. My father made the same decision to leave the classroom and go into administration for the same reason. It's about influence, right? And so to Major General Retired Hepburn, I just want to say thank you for, and later he hired me, by the way, to be a group commander at Wolford Hall. I got that assignment and I thought, why in the world would they ask me to come to a big place like that? And then I saw who hired me. I thought, oh, maybe I should have been nice. I don't know. Anyway, but he was a great mentor there as well. So thank you, sir. Lessons I've learned, Ricky Rupp, Major General Ricky Rupp, who's out at AFDW, who was here as a J3, he's now out there. He taught me, he sat me down and deliberately taught me how to have influence. He says, you want to have influence, you got to be at the table. That's called access. Be at the table, but you got to earn your way to the table. Yes, sir. And the way you earn your way to the table is you do your analysis and you think and you read and you understand what you're bringing. You got to have evidence when you come. And when you come, you need a position, right? You need to advocate for a position. Those three things, access, analysis, and advocacy. He said that's what you need to have influence. And he's exactly right. And I've tried to put that into practice. I have a long way to go and to learn. But he helped me with that, and I appreciate his deliberate leadership and mentorship. Mr. Bruce Bustler the other day told me the importance of strapping on any assignment, any task, and meaning don't just go after it, don't let it drag you along. You take it on, you mold it, you make it yours, and you no kidding, invest 100% in that. So he reminded me of the importance of strapping it on, and I appreciate that. And so I'll just wrap it up with this. A lot of people to thank. Standing on the shoulders of giants, I struggle with that metaphor because I shudder at the thought that the bottom of my shoes would be touching somebody as great as the people that I'm supported by. So, but nevertheless, it's those foundations that we stand on that are so important. And I would just leave this thought with you as I close. There's nothing better than working with a team. There's nothing better than being together. And as we connect and as we work together, and everybody brings their goodness into to the fight and focus on the mission, there's nothing we can't do. I will share with you that, you know, the motto here is that together, I'll tell you we're awesome. Together, there's not a problem we can't solve. I got a call from the Navy not long ago that said, hey, we're going to stand up our own patient movement system because we know you can't meet our requirement. Well, you haven't given us the requirement. I said, I haven't met a requirement that we can't meet, so give us the requirement, let us work it. And it's true. That's exactly true. It's the magic here of the people. And so together we're amazing, together we're awesome, and serve together we deliver. And I will take that with me in the future and use that as my motto down the road. Together we will deliver. Whatever it is the mission drives, whatever it is I'm asked to deliver in the future, that's what I will do. Thank you. Hold on. Okay. Something's going to happen here, and let me just warn you. So I'm going to ask for your help. We're going to do the Armed Forces Medley. And the reason we're doing that is because I can't just have the Air Force song here, right? This is a joint community. Now, this is going to be a long 3 minutes, unless we participate. So what I'm asking, when your service song comes up, I mean, let us hear it, right? I'm going to join you for that. But I would ask that you, let it rip, right? Let's let the folks that are out in the virtual world know who we are and understand, that we're serious about our services. So, Glenn, over to you.
Thank you, and congratulations, General Andrus. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the Armed Forces Medley and remain standing for the departure of the official party.
I know, they were, here they are, right here for you, sir.
I got this part.
I knew you had this one. And the army is rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting to let us on. And the army is rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Out of the cadence, I'm strong. 2, 3, 4, ready, go. You will always know that the army goes rolling along. Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. We will fight our country's battle for the land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at the break of day, day, day. Through all the silencer, anchors away. Until we meet once more, here's wishing you a happier day. Always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, high shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame and glory too. To fight, to save our land and sea, first the sky we are for you. Into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here it comes to meet our thunder. Atta boys, give him the guns, give him the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame, or go down in flame. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please join us in the front lobby for a receiving line and reception. Please give the official party just a moment to depart first, but thank you for attending and have a pleasant day.